We're going to give folks a few more minutes while we wait and enjoy the music. Okay, one more minute, folks. One more minute. And then we're going to get rolling with this. Okay. Hello, hello. Welcome to the 22nd weekly dev call. Today, Jaden and the team are going to be running the show, but I wanted to highlight a few things. I'm currently calling in Singapore. As you guys all know, last week it was Korea Blockchain Week. I was here in Seoul with the Spacebar team. I think Junie and Christy are here. And we had an incredible event. It was about 300 folks who turned 300 more plus folks turned out to the event, and a lot of folks were really excited about 6551. And in Singapore, it was even crazier. We had, well, smaller attendance, about 120-ish, right? But we did several events throughout Singapore, and I think the energy here is 150, as Judy said. Yeah, the energy here is growing quite a lot, so it's amazing to see. I think some things we should consider is I think a lot of times on these calls we don't have much from Asia because it's like super late. Right now it's at least in Singapore it's 11 p.m. and then in Korea I think it's midnight. So we might want to see what we want to do to bring on other folks in the world. So I don't know, Junie, Christy, did you send the photos? I think it'd be cool to. Oh, okay, I see it here. Here, let me share some photos. Cool. Yeah. So, yeah, this was kind of like the event here in Singapore. Yeah, that's Junie and Spartan Labs or kiosk. So many builders here that were represented. There was Jason from Airstack was here. Sasha from Parallel came. Really, it felt like a gathering, OP Games of folks. So yeah, those are some of the photos here of the event. So anyway, I'm gonna pass the mic to the team. Jaden, do you want to take the lead, and then maybe BJ, Raymond, and any other Jersey will kind of take it from here. So
awesome, sounds good. Thanks y'all for coming. Yeah, like we often do, if there's any folks who are new here or this is the first time on the dev call, you just want to introduce yourself and some of the things you're working on, whether that's actually building like products that you're shipping on top of 6551, or you're just kind of exploring and learning and looking to learn more. I would love to give anyone who would like to the chance to do a quick introduction about themselves and what they're working on. Feel free to either just raise your hand or just pop off mute and say hello.
I guess I can go first. I started kind of digging into representing bonds with Tokenbound accounts, and so I've just been doing a bit of research on that and figuring out how to design that.
Very cool. Welcome. Anyone else like to go? I do see a lot of familiar faces here, so there might not be too many people who are brand new to the call here. Cool. If there's nobody else who wants to do a quick intro, we can dive into some of the other things we've got going on today. I see Yogan is here from Munster. Do you want to give a quick intro there, Yogan?
Hey Jim guys, I'm Yogi from Leinster. I'm working on OBS Web. So I'm very excited with this integration. Let's see how it's going.
Awesome. Yeah, and for those who don't know, so we are going to be in New York next week. We're going to be doing NPC Day, where we're going to be focusing a lot on all the possibilities you can enable with 6551 when you tie it with things like the programmability of accounts and AI models and things like that. We've got some cool demos coming up with Lens and 6551 in the next little bit, so keep an eye out for that. Yeah, the other thing we do on these calls is open it up for demos. So if anybody is working on projects on top of 6551, building things, or even if it's just at the idea phase that you're interested in exploring and you're planning to build on top of, and just want to share it with the group, get thoughts on it, get feedback on it, chat about it. The floor is yours. Feel free to share any demos or anything that you've been thinking about in terms of things on top of 6551 or any questions about it. Cool. Everybody's shy this morning. That's the shy Thursday morning.
Jaden,
Sweet,
you gotta get the real
gotta get the
meeting,
energy
man.
going here. I know. I gotta get like the announcer voice or something out here. Get the set air horns or something. Sweet man, you always are building cool stuff. Any updates for the stuff you're building on? Or Scott, feel free to go too.
Yeah, go ahead, Scott. I do have stuff to demo, but I love the hand up. Let's go, Scott.
Yeah, sure. Sorry, I was actually like in a convenience store, so I couldn't answer. Yeah, I discovered 651 some months ago. Been loving it, and I'm actually building right now like an app that I think it's been done before. I saw it in East Tokyo. It's an app using SBT to show that the profile actually has like how to say like a curriculum that has actually been at the university or won competition and stuff. And I thought it would be actually very interesting to have an SBT own a TBA. So that's pretty much what I'm working on right now, and it's very powerful. I like it very much.
Very cool. Yeah, love the Soulbound token owning a Tokenbound account use case. I think that's really interesting. Sweetman, you want to go?
Yeah, if I can get screen sharing, I'll demo two things.
Sweet. Give me just 2 seconds here. There you go.
Okay. It's good to see Yoga in here. I think we're starting to see more and more people from the Lens community showing up, and so it's just good to see the builders from Lens over here. I think there's a lot of crossover. So the thing that we have been focused on now, we're obviously still focused on the creation of new token-bound accounts. But overall, we're focused on getting more items into those token-bound accounts. Top ERC, where? Wow, someone really jumped up. Good Minds NF, this is new for me. So we were at the top, but it looks like someone jumped up with 999. This is the first time I'm seeing this, but it looks like someone filled in Ethereum Tokenbound wallet with 999 NFTs. I think it's going to be a little hard for anybody to jump above that. But we're focused on trying to make it easier for people to manage what's inside of their smart wallet. So what we've done is, I think I already showed this last time, we have made it just easy to drag and drop into the wallet. And then after that, the last time I was here, we were having some issues actually signing. We figured out that we were initializing those proxy contracts incorrectly. And so we've now updated and fixed it so that I'll run the full demo. So we've got the smart wallet over here on the left, my wallet over here on the right. One PFP is then used to show your smart wallet. And then if you want to change what smart wallet you're managing, you just select a new smart wallet. It shakes the things that you can choose. I click a new PFP, and then it updates the smart wallet that I'm managing. So this is kind of how we're visualizing the management of smart wallets. If you have multiple smart wallets, you change the smart wallet that you're managing. And then from there, if you want to move something in, it's just the drag and drop like I showed before. And then, first I need to connect over to the right network. I'm on Zora. I need to switch over to ETH mainnet. But if you're on the right network and then you drag and drop, you get this nice little pop-up. I'm not going to send this one in, but I will do a sending out. And so this is just a simple transfer from on the ERC 721 contract to transfer an item into the smart wallet. If you want to do something out, you go the other way. So you take an item that's in the smart wallet. This was not available last time, but you drop it over into your wallet. If the smart wallet has not been initialized, because maybe your developer accidentally set the wrong bytes, and so your smart wallet did not get initialized, like me. So then you've got two transactions. First one is to initialize the smart wallet. And then after the smart wallet's initialized, then you call execute call from the smart wallet to do the actual transfer from. And so you do two transactions back to back. Once you do both of them, so here's the second one. We send the NFT out of the wallet. I'm doing all this on ETH mainnet just to do the full demo. And so that's the biggest thing that we've added on this side. We're about to do a big update to make management of funds inside of the wallet easier. So now that we've got transferring and management of the 721s inside of the wallet pretty locked in, we're now going to make it so that balances that are in this wallet can be used. So I'll demo more of that next week. And then the last thing I'm going to demo is super early, but it's coming out tomorrow. And so I just want this community to be aware. We've got a new product called 6551 Studio. It's going to be 6551.studio. And it's a management platform for 6551s in general. It's the same drag and drop you just saw in creators, but it's generic for any NFT. So we've optimized for mobile, and then we're also including desktop to just make it easy for you to come in, connect your wallet. You'll see all of your NFTs. You select whatever you want to manage. If your smart wallet's not set up, make it easy for you to set up the smart wallet. And once your smart wallet's set up, you just drag items from your wallet into the smart wallet. And then you can do the same thing the other way where you can drag from your smart wallet down to your wallet. And so those are the big two things that we've been working on, and should be back next week with some more updates, mostly focused on ERC20 management of smart wallets.
Very, very cool. Awesome to see. Yeah, I love love that you guys are able to work around the initialization thing. That's amazing.
Thank you for the help. That was really frustrating. I was like, oh no, I've lost everything. So thank you for the Tokenbound team for being very responsive to builders. It's really awesome to be building with you guys.
No worries. Happy to. Cool. I know it's a tough demo to follow up afterwards, but is anyone else working on stuff that they want to demo today?
I'm gonna put Fancy on the spot. Fancy, do you want to give an update on the brief? I think there's been a bunch of projects that have applied to the brief. If you want to give an update and even like show some of those projects, if you're down.
Yeah, I love to be put on the spot. Don't worry about me. So yeah, let me share my screen very quickly. Close some tabs. Oh, I might need to have that enabled.
You should be good now.
Yep, great. Oh, I'm saying it's no longer co-host. Might need to try that again. There we go.
I might have raced to that one. All good.
Cool. Let me know if that's working. Oh, it's still saying I'm not allowed. Oh, there we go. we're in. Yeah, so I've been having some really good chat. So just for context, if someone hasn't seen this before, we've been working with OP Games and Future Primitive to explore what the future looks like when AI agents or AI NPCs can have on-chain bank accounts and identity cards using ERC 6551. And this just enables a completely new species in a way. It gives true autonomy to AI agents that they haven't had before. You know, autonomy is often unlocked by resources, which gives us the opportunity to choose what we want to do. And so we're exploring this future where there is a real reality where when we interact in social situations, in games, in real world environments, AI NPCs with bank accounts and identity using ERC 6551s are interacting with us. So we've had some really fun projects submit. Some of you might know Gabby World, which is autonomous worlds combined with AI. So you prompt on-chain scenarios and then your character explores around the world. And so that's a really fun one. Another one which I really like is by Wild Friends, which is a project imagining that the animals in an animal sanctuary that you can support and adopt are AI NPCs. So they're trained using, AI analysis of real world animals, and they behave like real world animals in this virtual game. And you can, look after them in this virtual game and unlock resources. And the question I posed to this team was, imagine if the world in which they lived in was an ERC 6551. And so they're now exploring what that looks like. And so what it's been really fun to see is that, and there's more projects submitting at the moment, but if you're building an AI game or an on-chain game and you want to explore how this, how you can kind of combine these things to unlock this new gameplay, then I'd really love to chat to you. I'd love to, guide you through the process and get you submitted to Radar Launch. And we're boosting projects with prizes here and there just to keep kind of maintenance going or to cover, costs. And the last one I want to talk about is CryptoZ, which is a really fun idea of on-chain storytelling and IP being remixed, and your AI NPC in the story goes off into the world, it votes, it creates on-chain interactions within the cinematic universe, and then it comes back and its story is actually changed based on its behavior on chain. So as it goes around the world, it's collecting all of this information and it's putting that back into the story itself. So anyway, there's just a few things, and thanks for asking me to share. But if anyone's working on ideas, would absolutely love to jam with you on them and see if we can get some more things submitted for this awesome NPC future.
Awesome. Very, very cool. Thanks for sharing that there, Fancy. Scott, looks like you got a question. Feel free to hop up of mute and share it in verbal form if you want to chat through it. Got, if there's any thoughts about ERC 1155 and multiple ownership of an NFT.
Yeah, sure. I was actually wondering if you ever thought of that. I was at the Korean at the Seoul one, and I think you briefly mentioned it that you wouldn't be doing it, but actually I see like multiple use cases of it. Or of course you would have to restrict access and stuff, but I thought that actually giving ERC 1155 TBA would, in some cases, be pretty awesome. Have you ever thought of that? Having like several owners of a single NFTs, having the rights of a single TBA?
Yeah, so this is definitely something that is possible with 6551, but isn't the core use case of it. 6551 is centered around non-fungible assets, so assets where there is only one copy and where it is a unique on-chain identity. But there are a couple of ways some folks have experimented with having 1155 bound token-bound accounts. But the challenge becomes, how do you do authorization? Because essentially what you're creating is a multi-sig wallet where there are multiple owners who have the ability to execute using this token-bound account. So for a given 1155 NFT, how do you determine who has the rights to execute on the account? Is it anybody who holds at least one of the NFT? Is it anyone who holds, at least a certain balance of the ERC 1155 token? Do you have to own the entire existing balance of the 1155 token? Additionally, with 1155s, there are some challenges in the core 1155 spec with determining like percentage ownership of all of the tokens of a given ERC 1155 ID without supporting additional standards. There are some challenges there, but I know some folks have been building on top of this. We do have a couple of recommended paths for how folks would handle this if they would like to. Largely, it involves putting some custom data to determine the validation method for the Tokenbound account inside the SALT value of the TBA. So theoretically possible, not something that's officially supported by the standard, not something that's officially supported by the tooling that we're building, because we're focused on this use case of non-fungible tokens. But if that is something you want to explore, can definitely chat further about that. Cool. I think Megabyte, you had a question here too. Yeah, is there any work regarding the cross-chain accounts? So there's going to be some interesting announcements about this at NBC Day, so definitely stay tuned for that. But the short answer is yes. So right now, NFT accounts, if you're using the Tokenbound account implementation, are single chain. So an NFT on mainnet can own NFT on other NFTs on mainnet. But we're working on adding that support for cross-chain. So an NFT on mainnet can own things on Polygon and execute on it. And so it'll be like that will make it quite a bit easier to build some really cool applications on top of this. So for now, if you're using the Tokenbound accounts, just they're single chain, so just you keep that in mind. But we do have some very exciting things coming out next week at NBC Day that will hopefully be interesting to those folks who want to work on cross-chain Tokenbound accounts. Go for it, Susan.
We were actually just submitting some. The question I have is, it sounds like the timeline's 1 week, and the implementation is going to be, we'll be able to use a soulbound or a smart wallet on Ethereum to manage and sign transactions on other L2s. Is that correct?
Yeah, so if you keep an eye out for the accounts v3 branch of our smart contracts, you can go take a look at it now. We're finishing up an audit on it. But yeah, the plan is to launch the new versions the coming week, and they have the mechanism in there for us to be able to do cross-chain accounts. And so there will be a bit of a time delay between the launch of those and the full enablement of cross-chain things. But yeah, so the next version of the accounts v3 does have support for that. That's the place to go if you want to sneak peek at the code before we launch it.
Wow. Okay. So what will it look like for Tokenbound account owners? Like, will we just need to call? Will we need to have the owner of the account call like upgrade or change proxy or change implementation or something like that?
Yeah. So if you have an existing Tokenbound account, you can upgrade to this new implementation and get all the nice cross-chain account things. There are some because of the way the proxies work, there is you are going to get a new address that you can use with every NFT. So every NFT is going to get a new address with these upcoming Tokenbound account changes, and you will get the most support from that if you do if you use the that new address. But yeah, you should be able to upgrade existing NFT Tokenbound accounts to this new implementation and take advantage of the cross-chain stuff coming down the pipe. For a question from Scott, would you be using secondary tech such as Axelar or other cross-chain related functionalities? Yeah, the answer to this is it's different for every chain. So some chains have native bridges, like Polygon and Optimism have native bridges you can use if you're going from the main chain, which is mainnet, and the L2, which is Polygon or Optimism. If you want to go to other different chains, there are different bridges you can use. Axelar, Layer Zero, a few others that are really solid. And so ultimately, it's going to be your choice as a user which one you want to use. We're going to start with support for a couple of different cross-chain bridges, and then you as a user will be able to choose which bridge you want to use for your Tokenbound account. Cool. I'll open it up. If there's no more questions here, I'll open it up to the FP team to share a little bit about what we've been working on. On the smart contract side, we're getting these account v3 contracts out. We did a bit of a demo of that last week. Lots of neat features like the ability to execute against deeply nested accounts, the ability to execute transactions from multiple Tokenbound accounts at the same time in the same transaction, some better management functions for the account. So lots of cool stuff coming down the pipe. We are finishing up on that. So keep an eye out for some announcements next week when we're in New York. If you are in New York next week, we would love to see you and hang out with you and jam with you on 6551 related things. But yeah, I'll open it up to the rest of the team if they want to demo some of the things we've been working on this week. BJ, I think you want to demo some of the things that we've been working on the SDK side?
Yeah, on the SDK side, I've largely been doing a bunch of unglamorous work with regards to setting up more of a testing rubric that will essentially help assure us that we can build tests quickly, for one thing, but also allow for tests to be more thorough and much more robust, especially on the transaction side. I think it's an area where we've been a little bit weak up to this point, and we had a bit of a patchwork implementation in place that we definitely found wasn't really scaling. So I've been doing some work essentially to get things to a point where we should be able to build things out with a really robust kind of Anvil setup on the back end. And it's been working out pretty well up to this point. I suspect we'll have something to share fairly soon, SDK wise. I would like to get a release out before the end of the week, just on some of the things, and then there are some additional transactions that I would like to get merged in the coming days.
Awesome. So yeah, if you are building on top of the SDK, what that means for you is not only just a better test case ground foundation upon which the SDK stands, it also means if you're looking to do some complex things with the SDK or things that are, you find the documentation a little bit lacking, reading through the test cases is super helpful. You'll have a lot of guidance on how to build on top of ERC 6551 and the SDK by looking at the test cases now that we've kind of expanded them quite a bit, as well as there's some changes to the SDK coming down the pipe, which will make it a lot easier to do things like transferring tokens, ERC20s, 1155s, 721s, and transferring ETH accounts. So I know some of you have found the manually encoding call data to be difficult when using the SDK, and so this next release will hopefully make that a lot easier for the most common transactions you're executing using the Tokenbound account SDK. Is Druzy still on here? Druzy, do you want to chat a little bit about some of the things coming down the pipe for the tokenbound.org Explorer?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So in a small release last week, we've kind of updated the navigation in a few ways you can explore NFTs on tokenbound.org. We've kind of updated this search bar to lead into a collection view of NFTs, much like you might find on some other sites. But this is a good way to kind of explore whole collections and at a glance see the TBA address for every one of them. We also have this nifty little button that BJ implemented on this page as well, where you can export a full CSV of all of the TBAs of a given collection address. It's a little quality of life feature to enable you to get that bulk info a little bit quicker and maybe bring it into your app depending on the use case. And so this is kind of a new view that we have in the Tokenbound Explorer. Other than this kind of updated navigation and this upgraded search and collection page, we just have some general quality of life facelift updates coming to the landing page, and some more information structure to help builders out. And then after that, we'll just be on the lookout for a bunch of little quality of life features that'll help out with transferring tokens and managing your wallet, and diving a little deeper into that interface right here on tokenbound.org.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for sharing that there, Druzy. Yeah, one of the things we want to do with the Tokenbound Explorer is to make it easier to discover Tokenbound accounts for any NFT, whether that's NFTs you own or collections you're interested in, because we think that the permissionless and composable nature of this, where you can put things into the Tokenbound accounts of other NFT collections, and other NFT collections can interact with the dApps that you're building, is really powerful. So continuing to expose that on the site is what we're building. Cool. I think that wraps up most of the updates we have from the Feature Primitive event. We'll open back up the floor for anything in general that folks wanted to chat about, whether that's questions about things with ERC 6551, demos that weren't able to be squeaked in earlier. Just kind of general open floor for anybody who wants to chat about anything. Let's see, Scott, have you considered or know people that do consider templates or support for other fungible standards such as 777 or ERC 1363? That's a new one. I'm going to have to read that up. it'll be more secure and interactive. Yeah, do you want to expand on that a little bit there, Scott? If not, that's cool too. Yeah, so with Tokenbound accounts, because they're a smart contract account, that means they can own any asset. So you can have, yeah, no worries with that. So you can receive any assets. If you do want to have a Tokenbound account that receives assets that have a receive handler or that require a receive handler for smart contract accounts, I'm not sure if that's the case with 777 or 1363, but it's pretty easy to add support for that to either existing Tokenbound accounts through the overrides mechanism or to a custom Tokenbound account if you were to launch a custom account. We haven't talked a ton about the overrides mechanism for Tokenbound accounts, but essentially, if you want to add additional functions to your Tokenbound account as an owner, you can do that. So if you are a token holder and you have your Tokenbound account, and right now it can't receive ERC777 tokens, you can use the overrides to set an ERC777 receiver and then enable the receipt of ERC777 tokens. Because it's your account, it's a smart contract that you, the NFT holder, own, you can customize the logic running of that account. So you can add additional receiver functions that you want to. And so adding support for any of these receiver functions of different token standards is definitely possible. I'm not too sure about ERC 1363. I haven't read through that, so I'll have to take a look. But we generally support ERC 20s, ERC 1155s, and ERC 721s just because those are the most used standards out there. For some of the more exotic ones, you might need to do some custom things. Awesome. Any other questions? If not, I think we can wrap it up here. And yeah, appreciate you all joining the dev call.
I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
Uh, I'm just new here, so wanted to understand the basic. Basically, I'm interested in 6551, but I wanted to understand that token bound will be the. I haven't explored much in detail, so sorry if that question is not too basic. So token bound will be the basic implementation for everyone, or it will be that anyone can take it and use it in his application or somewhere. How it will be the where token bound will be placed.
Yeah, for sure. So you can totally create your own smart contract account implementation for ERC 6551. That's something that's supported by the standard. And so when you create an account, the address that you put in the implementation fields is a smart contract that implements the logic of the Tokenbound account. So it has to follow a certain interface. It does have some guidelines for what you have to do, but you can use whatever implementation you want. We do offer an implementation you can use off the shelf if you don't want to build a custom implementation, but you could build a custom implementation or use an existing smart contract account and modify it to fit ERC 6551. That is a bit challenging in some cases because a lot of smart accounts these days make some assumptions about authentication that are difficult to make fit with the static nature of authentication within ERC 6551 accounts. But yeah, you can use whatever implementation you'd like to, whether that's a custom one, whether that's forking an existing smart account and adding 6551 support to it, or whether that's using our implementation off the shelf. And so it's totally permissionless. Choose whatever you want to do. We're building a bunch of tooling around ERC 6551 to make it easier to build things with. And so a lot of that will default to our tooling, but has the option to use other implementations as well.
One more thing. So it will be like the service, the way we have for account abstraction. So there are services, and we can just use those services into our system, or the thing you are working on, so the implementation or the tooling you are working on, it will be for anyone to use, or it will be like Zero Dev has done something for account abstraction. So where this implementation or this tooling will be placed.
Yeah, both is good. So you can use it as is, or you can fork it and customize it. It is open source. You can take a look at the contracts and build on top of it. So you can either use this as the basis for projects you want to build yourself if you want to customize the logic on the account, or you can just use it as is. It works in both ways. Similar to Zero Dev, right? You could use Zero Dev off the shelf, also fork Zero Dev's kernel contracts and add your own functionality there. So similar kind of a thing.
Yeah, but sorry to interrupt, but it will not be like the service. It's generally available and everyone can use it. And anyone have to integrate it into his system.
Yeah, anybody can integrate it. There's no lock-in to our services at all. Yeah.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
Yeah, a couple of good questions coming through here. So Megabyte asks, what are your thoughts on creating a smart account with account abstraction enabled using Dichotomy? Also, is there any implementation? If yes, could you please share a link? So yes, you can totally take off-the-shelf smart contract accounts and add 6551 support to them. Depending on the account, some accounts have like a modular structure where you can customize the authorization on the account with different structures like that. With 6551, there is a very opinionated authorization structure, which is the owner of the NFT is the owner of the account. Or rather, the NFT is the owner of the account, and the owner of the NFT has authorization permissions. So as long as you can enforce that requirement on the account contract, that usually requires a bit of editing of the existing contracts. As long as you add the functions in the ERC 6551 account interface to the smart contract account, you can turn an existing smart account into one that's supported by ERC 6551. I don't have the link handy there, Megabyte, but if you look on the Tokenbound GitHub page, there's some links in the Telegram channel if you search. You can take a look at our implementation there. Another question from Scott. A question about registries. How good or bad is it to deploy your own? So this is a good question. With 6551, there is a canonical registry specified in the EIP. The address is not in there yet. The address exists on the Tokenbound docs where you can see the address of that canonical registry. And the idea is that that registry is ideally where all Tokenbound accounts should be deployed from. It's permissionless, like there's nobody owns that registry account. It can be deployed on every chain. And so by deploying all Tokenbound accounts via that registry, it makes it easier for people who are supporting the standard to integrate with it. And so the idea is that you could deploy your own registry and deploy your own accounts to it. You'll just get less support from the ecosystem versus if you deployed from the canonical registry. And so most projects deploy from the canonical registry, and that's definitely what we would recommend. It's not a requirement. You could deploy your own registry, but there's not a lot of need to because the registry itself is a very simple smart contract. Nobody owns it, so you don't have to worry about there being centralized permissions. It has the features that you would expect in an ERC 6551 registry. And so that's what we would recommend. If there are things that you need in the registry that don't currently exist, let's chat about it because ultimately what we want to do is make sure that the registry that's a part of the standard works really well for everybody's use case. If there's something that's not being covered, we want to add that in. So yeah, that's what we recommend. Use the canonical registry, and if there's additional things, we can make some updates to the registry that's included in the EIP, if that makes sense. Another question from Megabyte. Apart from the project builds, is there any other way right now we can contribute to tokenbound.org or ERC 6551? Yeah, the biggest way to contribute to the ecosystem, besides being active, in the community, is to build on top of it. So building interesting applications using 6551 as a standard. So building interesting projects on top of it. So if you want to build NFT collections that use 6551 or applications that let NFTs be users using 6551 or anything like that, that would be the recommended way to get involved. You're also welcome to contribute to any of the open source code that we've released. So the EIP, the Tokenbound account contracts, the reference implementation. We've got some more stuff that we're open sourcing in the near future. So you're welcome to contribute in any way there. But the biggest way is just build interesting things on top of 6551. Question for Scott. It'd be good for some more centralized entities that want only theirs to be supported. Yeah, this is an interesting point. Yeah, the one reason that you would want to not use the canonical registry is if you want centralized control. Generally, that's kind of against the ethos of 6551. The reason that the registry is permissionless and non-owned and part of the EIP is so that nobody does own it, so nobody can exert control. You do have some security concerns that you have to worry about when you allow when a centralized entity controls the registry, because if you can prevent people from deploying their accounts, that means you could brick counterfactual accounts for users, and so it does open up some opportunities for censorship. So yeah, we would recommend using the registry defined in the EIP. You can also go the centralized route if you would like. But yeah, it is a little bit antithetical to what we're all building towards. So anyways, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. These are really, really good questions. So if you guys have more questions, please feel free to keep them coming. If not, I think we can call it. Thanks y'all for coming to the Tokenbound account dev call this week, and we will see you guys next week. Scott says, I'm for more permissionless ways, but some cases might require it. Yeah, so it definitely depends on your use case. Cool. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming to the Tokenbound dev call. We will see you again next week, same time, same place.
Thanks all.
Bye all.